Emily Carter always thought she was just an ordinary girl from Millfield, Ohio, a sleepy town where everyone knew each other's names and secrets didn't stay buried for long. But some secrets were so dark, so carefully guarded, that they festered for decades beneath painted-on smiles and family dinners. At 21, Emily was in her final year of college, studying psychology. She had dreams of becoming a therapist, of helping others navigate emotional wounds, never knowing her own were quietly waiting to erupt. Her parents, Meredith and Jonathan Carter, were pillars of the community. Meredith was the PTA president and taught Sunday school. Jonathan ran the local hardware store and sponsored every town fair. Together, they painted the perfect portrait of loving, devoted parents. Emily had grown up believing in their love, in their goodness. Until one night changed everything. It began with a car crash. Emily had been coming home late from campus when a deer jumped into the road. She swerved, slammed into a ditch, and blacked out. When she woke up in the hospital, the doctor asked routine questions: her name, her birth date, her blood type. "I'm O negative," she said. The doctor looked confused. "No, actually, you're AB positive." Emily blinked. "That's not possible. My parents are both O negative. I learned about blood types in class. 2 O negatives can't have an AB child." The doctor's expression shifted, caution slipping into his tone. "Are you sure they're both O negative?" Her mind spun. That wasn't a small mistake. That was biology. That was impossible. When Meredith and Jonathan arrived an hour later, Emily sat quietly, watching them like strangers. Their concern looked real. Their worry was genuine. But something under her skin itched with suspicion now. A thread had come loose, and she couldn't stop pulling. That night, once discharged, she went home, but not to sleep. Instead, she opened the filing cabinet in her father's study. She had never gone through it before. She had never needed to. Trust was a given. Until now. Birth certificates, adoption papers, legal documents tucked inside a thick envelope marked private. Her heart stopped when she saw her name. But not Carter. Her real name was Emily Jensen. The breath rushed from her lungs like someone had hit her. Her hands trembled as she pulled out the document. She scanned the paper again and again, hoping the letters would rearrange themselves. But they didn't. She wasn't their biological daughter. She wasn't even adopted in the traditional sense. She'd been taken. There were emails too, from a woman named Nora Jensen. Subject line: "Please, I just want to know if she's safe." There were 5 emails, all unanswered. Emily's chest tightened. Her real mother had been looking for her. And Meredith and Jonathan had hidden everything. She didn't cry. Not yet. There was no room for tears, only fire. She took photos of every document, every email, every timestamp. Then she went to bed, pretending to sleep, while the people who stole her life made her pancakes the next morning. Emily stared at her parents that morning like she was watching actors in a bad play. Meredith laughed about something on the news. Jonathan asked if she wanted syrup. Their voices were the same, their routines unchanged, but to Emily, everything had shifted. She wasn't their daughter. Not by blood, not even by honest adoption. They had stolen her. She studied them with clinical precision, like one of the patients she used to read about in her textbooks. Meredith had always been particular, obsessive about control. Emily used to think it was just mom stuff. Now, she saw it differently. Meredith didn't love her, she possessed her. And Jonathan, the man who used to brush her hair and carry her on his shoulders, had lied every day of her life. She finished her pancakes in silence, smiled when they did, and went upstairs. Then she called the number at the bottom of one of the emails. It rang twice. A woman's voice answered, older, weary, but instantly alert. "Hello? Is this Nora Jensen?" A pause. Then, "Yes. Who is this?" Emily's voice cracked. "I think I'm your daughter." The silence that followed was so heavy, Emily thought the call had dropped. But then came a sound she hadn't expected, a soft, choked sob. "Oh my God," Nora whispered. "Emily?" That's when the tears came. Hot and uncontrollable. They spoke for over an hour. Nora told her everything. How she was a single mother, how she'd had a rough patch after Emily was born. She went into rehab briefly and left Emily with her then close friends, Meredith and Jonathan, who had promised to keep her safe for a few weeks. But when Nora came back, they were gone. Moved, disappeared, changed their names, filed false documents. I searched for years, Nora said. But I didn't have money for lawyers. And they covered their tracks so well. I never stopped looking. Emily's heart broke all over again. That night, she didn't sleep. She stared at the ceiling, remembering every memory, every birthday, every bedtime story, and wondering what was real. What had been genuine, and what had been calculated. The next morning, she confronted them. She waited until they were both in the kitchen. Her phone was recording in her pocket. I talked to Nora, she said. Meredith froze, spatula still in her hand. Jonathan's coffee cup hit the table too hard. She's alive, Emily continued. And she never gave me up. You took me. Jonathan stepped forward. Emily, honey, you don't understand. No, she said. You don't. You kidnapped me. Meredith's mask slipped then. We gave you a better life. You gave me a lie. Their faces turned pale as Emily pulled out the printouts, the adoption fraud, the emails, her real birth certificate. Jonathan reached for the paper, but she stepped back. I've already contacted a lawyer, she said. And the police. Meredith screamed. You're our daughter. We raised you. You raised me on betrayal. She left that day with nothing but a suitcase and the documents in her hand. Nora met her 3 hours later in a diner off the highway. When they embraced, it felt like exhaling after years of holding her breath. Emily moved in with her real mother, slowly rebuilding the life she should have had. There were tears, long talks, awkward silences, but there was love. Real love, the kind that didn't need possession or lies. As for Meredith and Jonathan? They were arrested 6 weeks later. The media exploded. Small-town couple arrested in decades-old kidnapping case. Emily's story went viral. She testified in court. Her voice didn't tremble once. The jury found them guilty. They were sentenced to 20 years. Emily stood outside the courthouse afterward, surrounded by reporters, but her eyes only searched for one person, Nora. When she saw her waiting by the car, arms wide open, she walked straight into them. And this time, she didn't look back.